This is LOA Recon with Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we explore the ins and outs of conscious creation to manifest our favorite dreams come true. Let's have some fun together. Oh my word, there is a miracle happening right now in real time. Right now. Kind of looking at it sideways out of the corner of my eye because I don't want to startle it. But wow. First of all, welcome and thank you for tuning in for another episode. I thought I was going to start this one off with a disclaimer or an apology for noise, background noise, but she just settled down for a little nap. How do you like that? I do have Harvey in here with me as well. He is not happy that we have company, but Olive is in here. This is our latest rescue from the shelter. I've mentioned her in previous episodes. I don't know if we knew that her name was Olive. She was Chica from the shelter. Anyway, she just got back from a recent 7-week stint with a professional dog trainer where she went because she was not having good thoughts about the cats in the household. She was cat aggressive. So he did some magic on her. We got her back a while ago, but Chad's been in charge of her this whole time. This is the first day I've been in charge of her. He took time off work to help with her integration into a household that's got a lot of cats in it. And, but he had to go back to work. So I'm in charge today. And I made what in hindsight seemed like a foolish promise when I let her out of her kennel in the morning. I don't use kennels a whole bunch with my dogs. I mean, with rescues when I have to, but it's not really how we roll around here, but it is for her for a while. So I gave her a potty break. And when we came back in, I told her, cause I felt bad about putting her back in there. And also I needed to record a podcast before we went on our WALK. I better not spell it cause I don't want to wake everyone up. So I said to her, as long as you don't chase any cats, you can stay out with me. Thinking, I'd be impressed if we got 10 minutes before she went after a cat. And I was keeping her on a leash. Everyone's safe. It's not like I was really risking anyone, but it's been hours. This girl, it's been hours, and she is being so good. Chad literally never let her off leash. That's what the trainer said. Chad is following his instructions to a T. So she's never had a chance to chase anyone, but I thought if I gave her one, she probably would. And then I could put her back in the kennel guilt-free. But no, she's not chasing anyone. And she's run across 4 cats. Yes, she did lock eyes for a minute. But she honored the leave it command. She respected the leave it command when I told her. She broke eye contact. And then there was once when she was trembling, but I distracted her and she did great. Oh my gosh. So I can't put her back in her kennel because she's keeping up her end of I got to keep up my end. She's not chasing anyone, so I can't stick her back in there when I said, as long as you don't, you can stay out. That's why Olive is recording with us today. So she was doing a lot of smelling, and I thought I'm just going to have to record with her sniffing around in the background, but she just laid down for a nap. Oh my word. I'm embarrassed to admit I did not expect her to do this well this soon. In fact, didn't we have a fabulous note from the universe today about raising expectations? Actually, I think it was yesterday's note. It was a really good one. Hang on. I want to read it to you. It was really good. I bet I still have it. It goes like this. No one ever regrets raising the bar. Ever, ever, ever. Scare yourself. Signed, the universe. Besides, this is your year and I've got your back. That's the PS, how it ends. Yeah, I maybe should have. I did set some good intentions for her. I mean, I expected that this would work out one way or another. You know, I dialed on happily ever after. Man, I really thought she was going to be Chad's true love. Because, you know, Harvey's mine. But, I think I just heard Winston bark. Okay, we better get to what we're talking about. Hey, big thanks to EE Singing Gal from the U.S. who left me a lovely review. Well, she left LOA Recon a lovely review on iTunes that reads, 5 stars, I love In My Vortex Is. I have many favorite episodes, but this is one of my favorites now. Super helpful and timely. I am already putting this into practice, and it is so much fun. I got to say, I'm really glad to hear that, Singing Gal, because I was wondering whether that would resonate with anyone. So thanks for letting me know that it did, and thank you for the review. Much, much appreciated. And you know what? I'm not exactly sure what I'm calling today's episode. I was sort of thinking of it as your most tried and true mantra or something like that. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But let's start off with a quick look at what a mantra is. Okay, I looked it up. The definition, and I'm quoting, says, mantra comes from a Sanskrit word meaning a sacred message or text, charm, spell, or counsel. What's counsel? COUNSEL? I don't understand that. But hello, sacred message, charm, or spell? I don't even need to know anymore. I'm all in. That sounds like a blast. And maybe you think of mantras and affirmations and positive thoughts and chanting. I don't know, maybe you think of it as very different or the same sort of thing. I don't think it matters so much the distinctions we make or what we call it. What matters is that we find a way to leverage the power of words in whatever form we enjoy most. And I will say that I personally do use affirmations a little differently than mantras, but again, that distinction doesn't feel important to me. So I'm not going to get hung up on the difference about whether this is what this is that I'm going to talk about today, but I think it's a mantra. All I really care about is using my creative powers for good use, for good purpose, and inspiring you to do the same. So I wanted to share a mantra that you might remember I put to work earlier in my world this year when I was noticing I had a lot of contrasting thoughts about the development in my area. Remember that? I was spending a lot of time thinking and talking with fellow residents about how we were ruining this place, the lost beauty, how we were driving the wildlife out with all the building, and our dark skies were at risk, and how we didn't have enough water for those who already live here, let alone new people, and all the noise with the extra traffic and the beep, beep, beeping from the construction vehicles. And we were starting to get inversions. Okay, there are towns next to us that are notorious for terrible inversions in the wintertime. And we were starting to have that effect here in our valley because of all the increased traffic. Okay, so those thoughts were getting some traction with me to the point where I was finding myself thinking, where else am I going to live? Where else can I go? Because this is not what I moved here for. And when I heard myself thinking about, I was mad. I hate moving. I didn't want to have to try to, that level of contrast is what clued me in. Well, first of all, I'm not going to find anywhere better to live when my dominant vibration is they're ruining it. I could move to paradise and ruin that if I bring that vibration to it. So I knew it was my cue to find some better thoughts. And I also knew that I personally do best if I don't have to make up a new thought every time I notice the contrasty ones. You know, that red hot moment when we're not feeling fab, that's not the easiest time to make up a better feeling thought. I like to have the memorized ones, right? So whether it's an affirmation or a mantra, I like the string of words that can help get me plugged in quickly to a better vibration. And usually I'm using something that feels like an affirmation. Lord knows I love those I am statements. I still use one regularly for work success. But what came to me in this situation was it didn't feel like an affirmation. It felt like a mantra. Sacred charm, sacred spell, we'll call it that. And it was this. I think I've shared it with you before, or at least I've shared it at Good Vibe University. Dark skies, beautiful views, open spaces, quiet neighbors, clean air, thriving nature, abundant water. Oh man, I feel can you feel how much better I feel just even saying those words? And they just came from, it was basically just the opposite of all the contrast that I'd been fretting about. Dark skies, beautiful views, open spaces, quiet neighbors, clean air. I just repeating that to myself and reflecting on how much that's already my reality. It made it easier to see, like, you're already living that, Jeanette. This isn't something that you're trying to manifest. You're already having it. It's already here. Repeating those words connected me back to present enjoyment. So I knew I won't have to worry about the future if I can keep a good hold on a good vibration. And that mantra helped me do it. I love that mantra. And guess what happened? So, I've been using it. I basically used it whenever I felt like a complaint starting to bubble up, like, or some sort of grumble starting to make itself on the tip of my tongue. And I would remember, dark skies, beautiful views, open spaces. Oh, so, I got a fair amount of time. It's not like I was repeating it. I wasn't like, oh, what was his name? The guy that wrote that book where Kamal Ravikant, was that his name? I love myself, or I can't remember what he titled his book. Oh, Love Yourself Like Your Life Depended on It. That's the title of his book. He repeated, I love me, or I love myself. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he just repeated it nonstop in every waking moment for a long time. And man, did it work in his world. He had an amazing experience. It's actually a really short little book, but super inspiring. I didn't repeat it like that. I only repeated my mantra when I noticed myself swing into the opposite, to the contrasty thing. So I got some time in with it, and guess what's happened? Okay, first of all, remember that big resort that I was worried about going up next to me? Don't laugh, but it turns out I was reading the map wrong. Instead of having north be in the north, they had the map, the orientation was askew. So it had looked like it was happening right above me, but it's not. It is still going up nearby, maybe eventually, who knows? But it's not going to be where I'm going to see it. Yes, maybe I'll have some increased traffic in my area, but this is a giant improvement over what I'd been worried was going to happen. And who knows what will unfold as I keep this mantra engaged. Who knows? And then remember how there was that big plot of property next to me that was being sold, and I bought this place. I was at the end of the dead end road, and I did that on purpose because I didn't want through traffic. I've got cats. Most of them are feral. They're inside-outside cats. Yeah, so when that property was going up for sale, okay, here's what happened. First of all, I realized I could buy that. If I really wanted to, I could have pulled that off, or I could have gone in on it with neighbors, because there were a couple of neighbors who were thinking about doing the same thing, but I don't know why they decided not to pursue that, but the reason I didn't was because I was like, you know what, sinking 7 figures into land just so no one else can be there kind of felt like a move that would be taken out of resistance rather than inspiration. You know what I mean? And we know how that works. Whatever actions we take to try to prevent something from happening, that's like turning the magnet on for it to happen, because whatever we push against, it just gets bigger. So that didn't seem like the way to go, but just knowing that I could have that, just having that choice available to me, it helped me feel more free about it. It helped me feel like I had choices and I was making smart ones. It was a thing that helped me feel better. So it did sell. But here's the good news. It's only going to have single family homes on it. I got a lot of friends up in this area where the property that sold next to them is giant condominiums. Oh, so I feel like I got off easy compared to what it could have been. So it's just going to be a couple homes next to me. They require 3 acres for each home. So, it's a small handful. And I already met one of those neighbors already who's really easy to like. But remember how I automatically like who's going to be my neighbor? I think I published that episode. I don't always publish every episode that I record for you, but I think that one did get published. Anyway, yes, I'm going to like anyone. If it's in my world and I can't do anything about it, I'm going to like it just because I'm too smart to come to any other conclusion with something that's going to be present in my world. Okay, I'm laughing because this morning I was thinking, Jeanette, you might want to make peace or get friendly with some politicians that I might not have otherwise been casting votes for. Okay, I'm cracking myself up. But anyway, this neighbor, he's not even hard to like. He's easy to like. And you can bet I'm just going to get even better at appreciating them because I'm good at this stuff. Okay, so that was one thing. And then, remember how before I got here, the new house that likely inspired the previous owners of mine, they were on this street first, all by themselves, and then a house went up next to them, and then the second house went up, and that's when they sold, right after that second one got built. Okay, well, I bought my house just a year after that other one. This is hard to follow, I'm sorry. Anyway, when I got here, the house that likely made these guys move, A new person got it. The original owners lost it to the bank. The girl who got it, guess what she did? I've told you this before. She planted a whole forest on her property. She had a whole forest. It is gorgeous. It is so much prettier than it was even before it was just an open meadow. She's got evergreens and deciduous trees that turn red and purple and the yellows and the oranges. She's got little bushes that are throwing off gorgeous color everywhere. And she keeps this gorgeous dark mulch on everything. Like her mulch doesn't get old. She's got this wildflower garden out back. Oh my word. Plus, she's the one who has the chickens that I get to take care of sometimes. And sometimes they even come over to my house to eat not at my house, but my yard. I love her dearly. I just love so much about her, including she's super wildlife friendly. She'll send me texts and pictures and video of the wildlife that I would have missed otherwise. Oh my gosh. When I think about her, she's my evidence that people coming up into this area can make it even better. They can make it even better. Sometimes they do. So why wouldn't the next people who come also make it even better, right? Oh, and even better, that's a mantra I've had working for me for a couple years now. I can't remember when I started using it, but wow, do I get payoff from that one. I really, really like that. So, and remember how I was mad, how I didn't live at the end of a dead-end road anymore? Well, guess what? It turns out that it's really handy to have a finished road to walk the dogs on every day because we don't get muddy anymore. We don't get stickers. We could tromp through snow if we want to or not. Like we have an option now. And I don't get nervous because I'm walking on someone else's private property, even though technically he said I could walk on it. It didn't really feel like he really wanted me to. So that's gone. Peaceful walks in the neighborhood. Plus, there's still all the beautiful trees and the birds and the deer and the badgers and the moose are here. Oh, in fact, the badgers and the cranes and the magpies, they all like to eat the grasshoppers that are sunning themselves on the road now because we've got a road now. You just heard me talk about having a road with excitement in my voice that's legitimate and genuine. Yeah, come on. Wow. So yes, there's still development here, but I can see the benefits. I'm enjoying and appreciating the benefits of development, and that feels like a personal miracle in itself. I also know as long as I keep up the story that this is good for me, it has to be that. One way or another, it has to be good for me as long as I'm willing to tell that story. Okay, but more good things happen from this mantra too. So remember my quiet neighbors part of the mantra? Okay, well, I was thinking I should change that to pleasant neighbors. I have been flirting with that change because it turns out quiet neighbors isn't exactly what I wanted. But it was still amazing. Guess what happened this year? The only other two neighbors who live on my street, first of all, the ones right next to me, they cleared out. They were gone practically the whole summer and fall. That's Charlie's family. They went off to Europe for months. They were gone for months. Their place was so quiet. And then my neighbor across the street, whose chickens I get to take care of sometimes when she's gone, she works out of town. Oh my gosh, she was gone most of the time. She's gone again right now. I had this whole street to myself. It was so quiet. I could let the dogs out and not worry that they were going to get in anyone's way. Oh my word. It was an amazing manifestation of my quiet neighbors mantra. And then guess what else happened? We had an abundant water year, or at least I did. The water master gave me unprecedented access to the irrigation water. Oh my word. I cannot tell you how different that was than my first years here. And plus, we had amazing rains. You heard about some of those, right? I know I shared in prior episodes about praying rain. Oh, that was fun. And we didn't get any dire warnings about running out of water from the culinary water company that we've gotten before. They still send out stuff about, be responsible and don't go over your allotted amount. But, that was just good to see them taking it seriously. So the water was amazing. And then, oh my gosh, guess what else happened? So the power company had to do some sort of work that required them to shut off power for over 5,000 residents up here for several nights in a row. How do you like that? They turned it off at 10 p.m. and it didn't come back on until 5 a.m. And guess what we did? Okay, we, maybe not everyone did, but everyone that I saw, we were celebrating the dark again. In our community group, people were just so appreciating and celebrating that our valley was dark again. And oh my gosh. And then it just got even better because before the power company finished their work, one morning when they turned the power back on, the neighbor's transformer next to their, well, not right next to their house, at the end of their driveway, it caught on fire. It was something blue. There was a live wire. It was a teeny deal, but it was some mild excitement at 5:30 in the morning. I don't know if that's why, but the power company sent out another email saying, okay, everyone, we gotta regroup. We're going to do this again next week, which meant we had even more dark skies for the next week. Oh, and not only were we celebrating that in this community page online, but our celebration of it clued in a lot of other neighbors that, hey, your neighbors care about dark skies, and here's how you can contribute to them even when the power comes back on. I'm so excited about this. I know people who don't care about those of you who are not in a drought or don't care about living next to wildlife or beautiful views. I mean, I probably sound like a crazy person celebrating this, but I'm just in awe of the magic that unfolded when I engaged this mantra, because that's not all. Guess what else? Speaking of beautiful views, I found 2 new trails that offered even more beautiful views than I used to know up here. That in itself was 2 really super cool manifestations. And, did I mention I'm friends with a badger now? The badger came up to my front porch the other day. The neighbor's security camera caught it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even known the badger actually made it up to my house. I'd seen it up on the road before where he or she liked to eat the grasshoppers. Okay. It's thriving wildlife, thriving nature. Yeah. In fact, there's someone who's also building. He was clearing out some trees to get ready to build on his lot. But that clearing out of trees, which at the time didn't seem like a fabulous thing, but it turns out it is, because I don't know how many of these stories you want to hear, and my dog woke up, so I should probably tell the short version of this. Anyway, you didn't used to be able to walk through that giant mess of trees, but he has a path through it now that he said we could go to if we wanted to, because guess what? It turns out there's a moose that likes to hang out at the end of that. Can you feel me on this? The way this mantra has come to life in so many ways. Dark skies, beautiful views, open spaces. In fact, you could argue the spaces are even more open now. Quiet neighbors. I think I am going to change that to pleasant neighbors because that covers it better, what I'm really after. But thriving nature and abundant water. The bottom line is universe knows how to say yes to whatever we instruct, whatever. Even when we're giving an instruction in the midst of a development craze, the likes of which this area has never seen before. You know, the prior census, the census count, the population count for this area was 600. 600 some odd. It was low 600s. It's over, well, it's over 6,000 now. It might even be 8, I think. I don't know. Universe can answer whatever I'm willing to instruct. And I'm only getting started with this mantra. Wait till I get some real traction with it. Like when it's my default and I don't have to just keep remembering it from contrast. I got so excited about the results of what happened when I turned on that mantra that it made me want to use one for all the important parts of my life, like for my healthy body, for my money, for relationships, or maybe I could just pick one that covers all of them. But imagine how magic that would be. Oh, I know which one I should make next. One for this new dog. Oh, I mean, she's already living into it. I wouldn't be making this one out of contrast, but what would that one be? Happy, peaceful, well-behaved, perfectly loyal, well-adjusted, loving member of our pack? What would that be, Olive? She's like, I'm already all of those things. You know what I've actually been doing with her, though? I've been entertaining the pictures more than the words. And my go-to is not the images. My go-to is the words. But for her, I've been seeing her curled up with cats cuddled up next to her. Everyone feeling the peace and the love. And also I've been seeing her as one of those like ideal behaved, well-trained dogs that you could take anywhere, and everywhere you go, people just marvel at what an amazing dog she is. So I've been doing pictures with her more than words, but man, I just love how these words are working. The reason I'm sharing this about my mantra, Joy, is because I'm wondering, do you work with mantras? I'm guessing you do, whether you realize it or not. Let's remember the definition. It's a sacred message or charm or spell. Sometimes we're using mantras without realizing the spells we're putting on our lives, right? Like the one, what's wrong with people? Maybe that's more affirmation or affirmation. That would be an affirmation with an O. Remember Noah St. John's affirmations? They're affirmations in question form. That's the bad one. That's the one you don't want to activate that one. Okay, I don't want to activate that one. Whether we think of it as an affirmation or a mantra, the same principle applies. We're using words to activate a vibration that calls forth a reality that matches that vibe. Like the mantra, I've got so much to do. Okay. Or the world has gone crazy. Or if it's not one thing, it's another. Ooh, you know what one I used to use? Easy come, easy go, without realizing how that was ushering good things through my front door and then right back out the back door. Even better is the one that is serving me so much better. It was a good upgrade from easy come, easy go. Anyway, I wanted to invite you to consider what spells you're speaking in your life. I think it's worth paying attention to what's getting lots of airtime with you, and then upgrading if you see any room for improvement on it. I hope you got some inspiration from this episode. Thanks for listening, everyone, and happy manifesting.